for being here today. Can you tell us who you are and what you do?
I'm Eric Chamberlin. I'm a neuropsychiatrist, and I practice mind-body medicine and EMDR. And over the last 5 years or so, I've been researching the neurobiological basis of EMDR.
Great, thank you. So can you tell us about eye movements?
Well, I think eye movements in EMDR are both a blessing and a curse. They're a blessing in that if you've ever experienced an EMDR session as either a client or a therapist, you know how powerful the eye movements can be. If you haven't, then the eye movements seem kind of odd. And that's the curse part, because that invites skepticism, dismissal, and even sometimes outright derision. So that makes understanding what the eye movements do really important.
So what is happening when we use eye movements?
Well, with trauma, high levels of norepinephrine take the prefrontal cortex offline, and we're not able to process memory in the ways that we normally do. Eye movements turn on something called the central executive network, and that reestablishes access to the processing resources of the frontal lobe so that the client is able to resume processing of the memory.
And how else do eye movements enhance psychotherapy?
Eye movements are a form of somatic reality testing. When a person is re-experiencing a trauma, the brain says that bad things are happening right now. And with eye movements, the eyes say, no, they're not. And that mismatch drives memory updating and reconsolidation.
Do eye movements do anything else?
Eye movements drive the search for associations to other aspects of the trauma, fragments that might otherwise be lost. And with eye movements, you're able to associate to those and process those as well so that they're not overlooked. Because fragments, when they're not processed, can continue to drive symptoms.
Why are associations so important?
Well, associations are the vehicle by which the mind travels from one thought to another. And in the brain, this means linking from one network to another. And so when we drive associations, we facilitate the linking of the current memory into pre-existing adaptive networks of experience.
Wow, eye movements do a lot. Is there anything else?
Well, eye movements also reset the theta rhythm. The theta rhythm is how the brain organizes the flow of information through the hippocampus, which is a structure that's critical in memory. So when eye movements are combined with the clinician's skill and expertise, powerful transformation can occur.
So given how important eye movements are, what are your thoughts about clinicians using eye movements versus tappers or other forms of bilateral stimulation?
Well, theoretically, the eye movements have a big advantage. The effects that I described in terms of turning on the central executive network, driving the search for associations, and also resetting the theta rhythm are all things that we know that the eye movements do, in the service of vision as an integrated system with the hippocampus. And when it comes to tactile stimulation, it's not clear that those same mechanisms apply.
So eye movements are definitely superior.
Theoretically they are,
Yeah.
and I think that's true in the clinical research as well.
Great. Thank you very much for your time and thoughts.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. If people would like to learn more about who you are and what you do and some of the stuff that you have put out, where could they go to see that?
My website, chamberlinneuroscience.com.